And one of the best things about having a Jeep is its simplicity. It's militaristic minimalism. However, there is still a lot of room to make practical updates to make the Jeep more usable. One of those things is a towing package. This has very obvious benefits. I was able to find one on Amazon for a very reasonable price, and the quality of this is amazing. It's a Class 3 hitch, very heavily built out of good materials. I also like the way it mounts, very simple, right to the bumper. So that is one small update that made my Jeep much more practical and much more usable.
This had one mirror. The other side didn't have any, and this side had one mirror that was not in the best of shape. And I do like to have the doors off on occasion on this Jeep. And I also have a full set of steel doors, which I got to take the mirrors off because I bought these. The Kentrol mirrors. I got them on Amazon. And over the winter, my hinges broke. This hinge broke. Nothing would seal right. And I mean, anyone who had that happen to them know it's a huge problem if you ever have it happen. These Kentrol hinges are really good. I mean, the quality, they open and close easy if you want to take the windshield down. And they're real sturdy, real good stainless steel, not junk stainless steel like these Rampage things that are already rusting, stainless steel that rusts, whatever. But these Kentrol hinges came with the mounts to put the Kentrol mirrors on. And while the hinges get top-notch review, they switch it over to Allen heads, and you get away from those Torx heads, which, let me get in there so you can see. The hinges themselves use Allen heads, and getting in behind here to undo the factory bolts is a huge pain, but it's worth it. There's a sealant over top of the other side that you have to remove before you can even start, because you need to have someone on the outside to turn these and someone on the inside to hold them to get the factory ones off. Once you get them off, these are a great replacement. Huge upgrade over the factory. And they came with these 4 holes here ready for the mirrors. Now the Kentrol mirrors are a little strange. The one sits basically as you'd expect, and the other you look at through the windshield. So the problem I've been running into with this mirror, and it's really one of the only problems, is my antenna. Every time I hit some weeds off-roading, it pushes it back and locks it under there. Not really the biggest big deal in the world, but it is a problem. And some people might not be able to get used to the way you look at them, but the mirrors themselves are great quality. I wish they were a little longer. Instead of perfectly square, I wish they were more rectangular like the factory Wranglers mirrors are. And the stems and everything was high quality. The one problem I did have was these fasteners. These are the fasteners that clamp down here. They don't come assembled, so you have to assemble them. I had to go and buy more bolts because those bolts just didn't hold up. And when I tightened those factory bolts down that they gave me, it just stopped. It wouldn't turn any further, it wouldn't loosen, and it wasn't tight. And they both, on each side, on each mirror, they both stopped threading at the same exact spot. So I know it's a factory defect. They're junk fasteners. I had to break them to get them off and buy new bolts to put right here, which for the price of these mirrors were over $100, a little over $100 on Amazon. The hinges were very expensive as well. I'll put a link to them in the description below. But overall, once you get these on there and you get them tightened properly and fastened properly, those things really stay put. And it's a huge advantage when you have the doors off to have all your mirrors. As I said, getting used to looking on the passenger side mirror, getting used to looking out your windshield to see the mirror, takes getting used to. And the problem with it is no matter how you adjust it, you're either going to see the cars behind you, or you can adjust it for parallel parking where you see the curb. There's really not a position that I can find, after lots of messing around, there's really not a position that I can find where you can do both. So one of the things you can do with this mirror for an adjustment, I put it somewhere in the middle. As you can see, you can't really see, this is right where my eyes are looking at that mirror. It's pretty natural. If I lean down a little bit, I can see the cars behind me. Or if I sit up a little bit and look down, I can kind of see my tire for backing up. So you can put it mid-level and have it work for both things if you don't mind drastically lifting up your head up and down to use it. But I do think if the mirror was rectangular, it would eliminate the problem of the viewing angle on this mirror especially. Well, this mirror pretty much functions as it should. It wouldn't hurt. So another thing worth mentioning is that the fasteners that are provided by the Kentrol mirrors fit perfectly. These hinges basically just have threaded holes with the perfect space and the perfect length bolt to bolt right in without going into the metal of the car itself. And they keep on, they stay on real good. They stay very tight. And those bolts that they provide are great and perfect. I've had no issues with them. They tightened up just where they needed to be without going through. These ones, on the other hand, junk. Replaced them immediately. And other than the cheap fasteners that broke and I had to replace, I would say the mirrors are better than stock. I wish they were rectangular, but they're not. They look cool, is my opinion. I really think they look great. And overall, they get my seal of approval. Just be prepared if you buy them. Be prepared. Get the fasteners ahead of time. I'm that confident. I'm going to tell you just to get the fasteners ahead of time. You don't need to deal with this stuff. And make sure you have help when changing the hinges themselves, because it's a pain in the ass. You got to have nice thin arms to get up in there. It was a project. But overall, I would say these mirrors are worth it. And I definitely enjoy them. I'm going to take I'll make a video of removing the steel door mirrors, the little tiny useless mirrors that I'm sure most people who have Jeeps are well aware of are the worst mirrors ever. So these are definitely going to be an upgrade over that.
So another thing I had to grab was my Gandalf's poem about Aragorn spare tire cover. Not all those who wander are lost.